Members, if you wish to make an announcement, please press your request to speak button. I would ask the members and the visitors in the gallery to give your attention to the announcements as they're being made. Councilmember Glover, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Pro Tem. I want to again announce that we are having a community meeting this Thursday night, July the 17th at 6 p.m. at the Hermitage Police Precinct. Talk about some things that are going on in the 12th District. Representative Jernigan will be there along with State Senator Hale, myself, and the school board member Anna Shepard to address some changes that are taking place in our district. And once again, that meeting will be this Thursday, July the 17th, 6 p.m. at the Hermitage Police Precinct. Thank you, Mr. Pro Tem.
Thank you, Councilmember Glover. Councilmember Pridemore, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Pro Tem. I'd like to make an announcement about the Madison Train Show that will be held July the 25th and July the 26th, Friday and Saturday. On Friday, the hours are from 3 to 6, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. It's being held at the City Road United Methodist Church, 701 Galton Pike South, corner of Galton Road and Neely's Bend Road. It is the largest multi-scale train show in Middle Tennessee in the summer. So it'll be a very interesting time for everyone. There's hundreds of people and hundreds of trains, and you'll definitely have a good time. And if you need more information, you can contact Mr. Nathan Baker at 330-5833. 330-5833. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Pridemore. Councilmember Claiborne, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As always, I'd like to remind folks about the HIP Donaldson Farmers Market that takes place every Friday afternoon from 4 until 7. Almost all of the summer vegetables are in now: corn, beans, you name it, melons, berries. You can eat natural and enjoy it. And then I want to remind folks that this coming Saturday night, the third Music at the Mansion event will take place at Two Rivers Mansion beginning at 7 o'clock. This is a celebration of our country's birthday and also our religious freedoms. It's a God and Country event. We have two of the local churches, the River Church and the Donaldson Fellowship. The worship bands of both of those will be providing the music that night. So folks are invited to come out, bring your lawn chairs, your blankets, pack a picnic if you want. That's too much trouble. We have on-site caterer. The weather's going to be great, and $5 per person. Tickets are available at each one of the church offices, the River on Stewart's Ferry Pike and Donaldson Fellowship on McGavock Pike. So everybody come out and enjoy a great evening. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilmember Claiborne. Are there any other members that wish to make an announcement? Councilmember Anthony Davis, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. Just had to pull up the calendar there. One, I wanted to announce real quick, on this Thursday the 17th, we'll be doing a good old-fashioned straw poll at Amqui Station. So candidates will be there in the districts that include Madison and sort of that general area. And so Amqui Station this Thursday, that will be at 5 o'clock p.m., a good old-fashioned straw poll is what they're calling it. And it's part of the Evening at Amqui series. And I think that's all I have this time, Mr. Chair. I guess I'll go ahead and announce the Englewood meeting for August will be at the usual first Thursday time, Thursday, August 7th at 7 p.m. at the Litton Alumni Center. Always first Thursday at Litton Alumni Center, Gallatin Road at 7 p.m. for Englewood meeting. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilmember Davis. Councilmember Westerholm, did you seek recognition? Yes. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Wanted to mention a couple of things. This Wednesday, tomorrow, July 16th at 5:30 at the MDHA headquarters, there will be a meeting on the 5 Points Redevelopment District. This will be the fourth meeting to go over the previous meeting's content and move forward with the proposal. Also, Monday, July 21st, Shelby Hills will be having their monthly meeting. They meet at the Shelby Hills Community Center. And then on Monday, July 28th, they'll be meeting, I believe, at the same location regarding the neighborhood landmark designation for 1627 Shelby. That meeting will be at 6 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Westerholm. Councilmember Claiborne, did you seek recognition again?
Thank you. Yes, I forgot to mention that on Monday evening at 6:30, Lakewood Baptist Church in the Fellowship Hall will be having a meeting concerning the rezoning of property at the corner of Lakeland and Donaldson Pike. So the neighbors in that area have received notice of that, but any other individual that's interested in attending there will be there at 6:30 at Lakeland Baptist.
Thank you. Councilmember Dowell, you're recognized.
Thank you. I just wanted to announce that on Tuesday, August 5th, we will have our National Night Out Against Crime celebration in District 32. I'm asking all of our neighbors to come out and participate. If you have time to volunteer, come out and volunteer with us. But it's going to be on Tuesday, August 5th at the Global Mall Crossings. We're going to do it on the parking lot between Macy's and Nashville State Community College. We'll have lots of great prizes. A lot of community partners are going to be there and set up, and so I'm inviting everybody to come out and let's celebrate and recognize National Night Out Against Crime. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Dowell. Do any other members wish to make an announcement? Seeing none, I have one of my own. The Caldwell Abbey Hall Neighborhood Association will meet this Saturday, July 19th at 10 a.m. at the Southminster Presbyterian Church on Harding Place. Any other member wish to make an announcement? Seeing none, I declare the announcement period closed. The meeting will begin at 6:30. Thank you. Members of the council as well as the public, please rise for the invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. The invocation this evening will be offered by Pastor Chris Nichols with the Cross Point Community Church, the guest of Councilmember Sherry Weiner.
Beautiful day in this great city that we get to live in. Thank you for these elected officials who give of their talent and their time for the sake of our community, and for certainly all these citizens who have come here to have a voice in the process. Thank you that though we have different backgrounds and different lives, different political beliefs and different religious beliefs, that when we're at our very best, we can be one for the sake of a vibrant and a healthy community. God, I pray that we'll be at our best tonight. It's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Without objection, we will suspend the calling of the roll and ask the clerk to record the names of those members present during the course of the meeting. Is there a motion for the adoption of the minutes of the meeting of July 1st? There's a motion properly seconded. Without objection, the minutes of the meeting will stand approved as written. Madam Clerk, are there any messages from the mayor?
There are no messages from the mayor.
Thank you. At this point, I would like to recognize Captain Kay Loki, our Sergeant at Arms, for today being promoted to Commander and leading the operations. She will be leading the operations at the new Midtown Hills Precinct. Congratulations. Councilmember Stites, do you have a report from the Rules and Confirmations Committee?
We voted to recommend reappointment of Mr. Landers to the Auditorium Commission, vote 5-0. Mr. Burley to the Hospital Authority, 6-0. And Ms. Coleman to the Property Standards and Appeals Board, 5-0.
All right.
And move the consent agenda. I move the appointment.
There is a motion for confirmation of the appointment of Mr. John Landers to the Auditorium Commission, Dr. Howard Burley to the Hospital Authority, and Ms. Peggy Coleman to the Property Standards and Appeals Board. That's properly seconded. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? And you are all confirmed. At this time, we would like to recognize those citizens who were confirmed tonight. Mr. John Landers, if you would stand, Dr. Howard Burley, and Ms. Peggy Coleman. Thank you very much for your service to our city. The first item on our agenda is a resolution on public hearing, RS 2014-1156, by Councilmember Perdue, exempts venue 109, located at 109 Coode Lane, from the minimum distance requirements for obtaining a beer permit. Councilmember Perdue?
Could you open the public hearing, please?
Could I see a show of hands of those in the audience that are in favor of this proposal? And could I see a show of hands of those in the audience opposed? Seeing people on both sides, would someone in favor like to speak? If you would, please come to the lectern, state your name and address, please.
That's the one I was telling you about.
The address of the building is 109 Coode Lane. I am the owner of it. I'm in favor of it because it is a booking event venue. It's not a nightclub or anything like that. So we book it out for weddings, different events like that.
Thank you. Would anyone in opposition like to speak? If you would, please line up at the lectern and state your name and address, please.
You won't have to. Yeah, I'm on the first.
I'm Dr. Donald Bethay. I own the property at 85 Coode Lane, which is just 3 doors down from the venue 109. This property is known as Rivergate Medical Center. We built the building in 1978. It's been a wonderful place in which to have doctors to come and occupy the office space to care for the members of our community and surrounding counties. At the time we built, we met all the code requirements, specifically a certain number of parking places for the building square footage, etc. And I'll allude to that a little bit later. We now have 6 doctors that practice in the building to serve the people of our community and surrounding counties. And it is a nice area and has been a nice area until venue 109 moved in. And then we began to notice a change. We would, as you know, a doctor's building requires parking spaces 24/7 for doctors to see emergency patients, etc. And especially during the weekend, we come and we find that our parking lot is completely filled with people attending the venue 109. They even have a shuttle that runs from my parking lot just a few hundred feet down the road to venue 109. We do not feel that we need to have a beer permit submitted for this venue. We understand that there has already been a shooting at this venue in February. We don't invite this type of atmosphere in our community, and we respectfully request that you turn down this request for a beer permit. Thank you.
I'm Dr. Harold Peoples. I'm a tenant at 85 Coode Lane, and I'm an oral and maxillofacial surgeon. I do see patients at all hours of the day and night. And just this most recent Saturday night, the parking lot was filled at around 10 o'clock with cars attending a function at venue 109. I don't think that they have demonstrated that they really want to be good neighbors in the community by violating property rights when there are signs that clearly point this out, that it is private property and not to be used for any other purposes than the people who are legitimately in business there. I think it's a bad precedent to introduce this element of beer sales, alcohol sales into the community when the people who are requesting that variance are not observing good decorum with the neighbors who are already there. I'd appreciate your consideration. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Dr. James Burks. I am 2 doors down from venue 109 at 103 Coode Lane. Similar concerns. About 2 to 3 weeks ago, I needed to see a patient on a Saturday afternoon. The time was around 2 o'clock in the afternoon or so, and couldn't get into my own parking lot. Park next door, Dr. Bethay's, but we need to be able to see patients at any time, and it is private property. My sister is a dental hygienist. She owns the property between me and venue 109. And there's people renting, family there, and a family on the other side of venue 109, and that doesn't seem that beer, this type of establishment, should be going between 2 homes also, but that's my concern. Thank you.
My name is Lance Woodis. I represent Woodis Holding Group. Our family founded LLC back in 1994. We purchased a business center located at 104 Coode Lane. That piece of property is known as Rivergate Business Center. I represent 17 tenants tonight, and my problem is parking and people throwing out whiskey bottles, beer cans, trash, paper plates. The shooting that occurred the 16th of February, a gentleman was shot, I understand, a couple times over there. And it's just having to come in on the weekends, clean the property up, and get it properly suited for the tenants that come in the next morning is just a small concern compared to what possibly could happen if a beer permit is issued. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. If there's anyone else in opposition, if you would, please go ahead and line up.
I think I'm it.
All right.
My name is Randy Swayze. I'm a tenant there in Rivergate Business Center. The concern I have is a lot of it has already been addressed as far as the shooting and the parking and the trash that's being distributed all over the premises. It's even gone as far as we have planters on the sidewalk, and they've actually dumped those out in the parking lot. It's just not a very good environment, I don't feel, for the area. You've got a lot of residential area. You've got a lot of people that are living there, not only from the business, the businesses that are there. From what I've seen, as far as when events are going on, there's actually no real supervision that seems to be happening. There's no security. There's no anything. And they just kind of go from whenever they want to. The original deal with the individual being shot was an event that started on Saturday night and went all the way into Sunday morning. And it wasn't until Sunday morning when he was shot at that time. That's all I have.
Thank you. I now declare the public hearing closed. Councilmember Perdue, you're recognized.
Yes, I almost have to agree with the opposition in this situation. I've been over there a few times and looked at it. The big deal is it's right in the middle of a residential area. There's a house on each side, and they're really close together. So what I'd like to do is ask that you vote for a 2-meeting deferral tonight, and let me talk to more of the people in that neighborhood.
There's a motion and a second for a two-meeting deferral.
Two-meeting deferral, that'll give me time to talk to all of them.
All right. Is it him? Do you also have a committee report from Public Safety?
3-0 passed.
Okay. All right, there's a motion properly seconded for a two-meeting deferral. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, and the bill is deferred for 2 meetings. Next, we have our consent agenda resolutions. I will read the caption and then call for committee reports. RS 2014-1157 by Councilmember Stein appropriates $2,150,000 to 30 nonprofit organizations to receive funding through the Community Enhancement Grant Program. RS 2014-1158 by Councilmember Stein approves a grant from the State Department of Health to the Metro Board of Health to provide tender care outreach services for enrolled children. RS 2014-1159 by Councilmembers Stites, Dominy, and Hunt authorizes Metro-owned property located at 3254 Eazell Pike to be used as a convenience center. RS 2014-1160 by Councilmember Dominy approves an amendment to a contract between Metro government and the State Department of Transportation to extend the deadline for information to be submitted for crosswalks and pedestrian signals at 4 Harding Place intersections. RS 2014-1161 by Councilmember Stein authorizes the Department of Law to compromise and settle the lawsuit brought by Dr. Stacy Williams against a Metro police officer for $99,000. RS 2014-1162 by Councilmember Gilmore authorizes Nashville Trail Incorporated and Boots and More Incorporated and Big Time Boots Tri-West to construct and install an aerial encroachment at 209 Broadway. RS 2014-1163 by Councilmember Gilmore authorizes Nashville Trail Incorporated and Boots and More Incorporated and Big Time Boots Tri-West to construct and install an aerial encroachment at 301 Broadway. All right. Councilmember Stein, you're recognized for the committee report.
On 1157, 1158, and 1161, Budget and Finance approved, 8-4, none against.
Thank you. Councilmember Maynard.
Health and Hospitals approved, 1158, 5-4, against.
Thank you. Councilmember Hunt.
Planning and Zoning Historic approved, 1159, 1162, 1163, 7-4 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Dominy.
Thank you. Public Works Committee approved 1159, 1160, and 1162 and 1163, 5-4 and 0 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Stites.
Move the consent agenda.
Is motion properly seconded for approval of the consent agenda? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? And the consent agenda is passed. We have a late resolution, which will require a suspension of the rules. Councilmember Westerholm, let me read the caption. Late resolution by Westerholm authorizes 5 Points Pizza to construct and install an aerial encroachment at 1010 Woodland Street. Councilmember Westerholm.
Thank you, Mr. Pro Tem. I would move approval with a brief explanation.
You're going to move to suspend the rules?
To suspend the rules.
That's a motion properly seconded. Can you state the nature of the emergency?
The emergency concerns the timing of this encroachment being completed. In the letter that should be on your desk, this is something that has been approved by Public Works. They've reviewed this. It would be heard in the first meeting of August. However, with the Tomato Art Festival on August 9, where we think there'll be close to 40,000 people present, in order to make sure that the construction is complete and there's no safety hazards, we wanted to suspend the rules to have this heard tonight so that everything can be completed on time. That is the nature of the timing.
Is there any objection to the suspension of the rules? Seeing none, the rules are suspended. Councilmember Westerholm.
Thank you. I'll move approval.
There's a motion properly seconded for approval. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, and the bill is passed. We are to bills on introduction and first reading. Are there any of these that need to be removed? Is there any objection to passing all the bills on introduction and first reading? There is a motion, properly seconded. All those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, and they are passed. Bills on second reading, BL 2014-822 by Councilmember Gilmore, amends the Metro Code pertaining to the definition of performing arts facility for the purpose of obtaining a permit to sell beer. Councilmember Gilmore, you're recognized.
Thank you, Speaker Pro Tem. Committee reports, please.
Councilmember Pardue.
That passed 3-0 in public safety.
Thank you. Councilmember Gilmore.
Thank you. Move for approval.
There's a motion properly seconded for approval. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, and the bill is passed. BL 2014-823 by Councilmembers Holloman, Stein, and Tigard approves a participation agreement between Metro Parks and Recreation and the Cumberland River Compact for the removal of the low dam in Richland Creek at McCabe Golf Course. Councilmember Holloman.
Committee reports, please.
Councilmember Stein.
Budget approved, 8-4, none against.
Thank you. Councilmember Tigard.
Parks and Recreation approved, 3-0.
Thank you. Councilmember Holloman.
Move approval.
There's a motion properly seconded for approval. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, and the bill is passed. BL 2014-824 by Councilmember Garrett designates Old Clarksville Pike between Whites Creek Pike and Eatons Creek Road as Keaton's Cut Place. Councilmember Garrett.
Committee report, please, sir.
Councilmember Stein.
Budget approved, 8-4, none against.
Thank you. Councilmember Dominy.
Thank you, Speaker Pro Tem. The Public Works Committee deferred by rule.
Move to defer one meeting, sir.
All right, there's a motion properly seconded to defer one meeting. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. And those opposed, and the bill is deferred one meeting. BL 2014-825 by Councilmember Stites readopts the Metro Code containing certain ordinances of a general and permanent nature enacted on or before February 5th, 2014. Councilmember Stites.
The Rules Committee approved 5-0, and I move approval.
Second. That's a motion properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, and the bill is passed. BL 2014-826 by Councilmember Westerholm amends the Geographic Information System street and alley centerline layer by abandoning a portion of the right-of-way for alley number 1999. Councilmember Westerholm.
Thank you, Mr. Pro Tem. Committee reports, please.
Councilmember Dominy.
Thank you. Public Works Committee approved, 5-4, and 0 against.
Thank you. Chairman Harrison.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Traffic and parking deferred by rules.
Thank you. And Councilmember Hunt.
Planning and zoning approved Bill 826, 740 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Westerholm.
I would move approval.
You're going to need to defer. Or
defer by
suspend
rule.
the rules.
I'll defer by rule for one meeting.
All right. The motion is for a deferral. Is there a second? Motion properly seconded. All those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, and the bill is deferred one meeting. BL 2014-827 by Councilmember Gilmore, amends the Geographic Information System street and alley centerline layer by abandoning the right-of-way for Keys Alley and Alley number 241. Councilmember Gilmore.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. Committee reports.
Councilmember Domine.
Thank you. BL 2014-827, Public Works Committee approved 5-4 and 0 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Harrison.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Traffic and Parking approved this 3-4 and 0 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Hunt.
Planning and Zoning approved Bill 827, 7-4, 0 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Gilmore.
Thank you. Move for approval.
There's a motion properly seconded for approval. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, and the bill is passed. BL 2014-828 by Councilmember Baker, Domine, and Hunt abandons retained easement rights in the former right-of-way of 53rd Avenue North for properties located at 5300 Pennsylvania Avenue and 5215 Centennial Boulevard. Councilmember Baker.
Thank you, Mr. Pro Tem. Committee reports, please.
Councilmember Domine.
Thank you, Speaker Pro Tem. Public Works Committee approved 5 in favor, 0 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Hunt.
Planning and Zoning approved Bill 828, 7-4, 0 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Baker.
Move approval.
There's a motion properly seconded. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, and the bill is passed. BL 2014-829 by Councilmembers Holloman, Domine, and Hunt abandons 175 linear feet of a 20-foot public water main easement for the property located at 3516 Brentwood Drive. Councilmember Holloman.
Committee report, please.
Councilmember Domine.
Thank you, Speaker Pro Tem. Public Works Committee approved 5 in favor, 0 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Hunt.
Planning and Zoning approved Bill 829, 7-4, 0 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Holloman.
Move approval.
There's a motion properly seconded for approval. Seeing no discussion, all those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, and the bill is passed. BL 2014-830 by Councilmembers Gilmore, Domine, and Hunt abandons 77 linear feet of an 8-inch public sewer main and easement and accepts one new public sewer manhole for properties located at 301, 307, and 315 8th Avenue South and 300 and 312 9th Avenue South. Councilmember Gilmore.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. Committee reports, please.
Councilmember Domine.
Thank you, Chairman. Public Works Committee approved 5 in favor, 0 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Hunt.
Planning and Zoning approved Bill 830, 7-4, 0 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Gilmore.
Move for approval.
There's a motion properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, and the bill is passed. BL 2014-831 by Councilmembers Gilmore, Domine, and Hunt abandons 190 linear feet of a 10-inch public sewer main, an existing easement, and accepts 194 linear feet of an 8-inch public sewer main for properties located at 105, 107, and 109 16th Avenue South and at McGavick Street unnumbered. Councilmember Gilmore.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. Committee reports.
Councilmember Domine.
Thank you, Chairman. Once again, Public Works Committee approved 5 in favor, 0 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Hunt.
Planning and Zoning approved Bill 831, 7-4, 0 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Gilmore.
Move for approval.
There's a motion properly seconded for approval. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor vote aye, and those opposed, and the bill is passed. We are to bills on third reading. BL 2014-772 by Councilmember Weiner and Tigard amends the Metro Zoning Code to modify the conditions pertaining to lot size, setbacks, street standards, landscaping, and hours of operation for construction, demolition, landfills, and recycling facilities. Councilmember Weiner.
Thank you, Speaker Pro Tem. Committee reports, please.
Councilmember Hunt.
Planning and Zoning approved 7-4, 0 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Weiner.
I'd like to move the substitute with a brief explanation.
There's a motion to substitute properly seconded. Go ahead, Councilmember Weiner. Sorry.
Thank you. So after living through a neighborhood and supporting their effort and their fight to preserve its solace amidst a natural setting, its home values, and the safety of its residents, the realization struck with me that others could be faced with a similar situation. Addressing the scope of the code was needed in order to protect those interested in establishing such facilities and those neighbors whose homes could be impacted. According to various authorities, Nashville and the surrounding area is expected to grow substantially in population over the course of the next 20 to 30 years. A natural result of this growth is that more housing is going to be needed. Yet we must also protect our existing neighborhoods and the quality of life of our residents. We understand the finite amount of land available for meeting our anticipated housing needs. Requiring a 1,000-foot setback for C&D landfills from residential zoned areas is necessary to protect the health, the safety, and the welfare of our residents. It will also ensure that the residents who seek more tranquil and rural areas of the county can do so with the setback put in place. The setback has no application whatsoever to industrial sites which are generally separated from our neighborhoods. Neighborhoods and neighbors are what make this community great. This bill is my attempt to make sure that that continues. In short, it addresses the following. It increases the minimum lot size to reduce visibility. It modifies the street standards to address traffic flow and safety. It increases setbacks to reduce visibility and the impact on home values. It enhances the landscape buffers and fencing to improve aesthetics and to keep debris on site. It restricts hours of operation to reinforce quiet enjoyment of residential neighborhoods. The substitute only eliminates the limitations imposed on commercially zoned properties in order to continue to further Metro's recycling initiatives and needs as the community grows. I appreciate all the time and assistance from the folks in planning, John Cooper, Sharon Smith, and those devoted to making this bill sensitive to the needs of our recycling initiatives, neighborhood interests, and community needs. I do believe that this bill accomplishes our goals, and I appreciate your support of this neighborhood bill. I would like to move the bill on third as substituted.
First, we're going to vote on the substitution. Is there any further discussion on substituting the bill? Seeing none, all those in favor of substituting the bill, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the bill is substituted. Now,
I
Councilmember
would
Wenger.
now like to move it on third as substituted, please.
The motion is to approve the bill as substituted, properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, and the bill is passed. Thank you. Councilmember Evans, did you wish to be recognized? All right, thank you. BL 2014-776 by Councilmember Gilmore amends the Metro Zoning Code to create the Music City Cultural Heritage Overlay District to 17.22 acres for property located on Broadway, 2nd Avenue North, and Printers Alley. Councilmember Gilmore.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. Committee reports, please.
Councilmember Hunt.
Planning and zoning approved Bill 776, 7 for, and 0 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Gilmore.
Yes, thank you. I would like to move the substitute and refer to Planning Commission for July the 24th. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's first, okay, yes. I got several pieces. Let me slow it down a little bit. Okay, so first I would like to move the substitute.
That's a motion properly seconded for the substitute. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the substitute, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? All right, the substitute passes.
Thank you. Now on to the second part. I would like to refer to the Planning Commission, move to refer to the Planning Commission for July 24th, and defer the bill to third reading in August. Yes.
All right, the motion is to defer one meeting and to re-refer to the Planning Commission.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem.
That is properly seconded. We're on discussion. Councilmember Evans.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Could I just, and I want the council lady to be successful with this because I really do support the concept. Can you just tell us what the sort of consensus building and community feedback is going to be undertaken between now and third reading? Because I know you want a better result from the Planning Commission in July. So if you just run through that with us.
Sure, and I'll give some prior to that. Actually, I was going to thank, too, so I can kind of segue into that, really thank John Cooper for really working on it and the Planning Commission because they worked a lot on it as well. So if I could just kind of step back once. We had a meeting, we had one meeting with several of the owners. So that was the first meeting. We had one at the Pinewood Social. Then we had a second meeting, this is since the bill, with the Chamber of Commerce and several of the stakeholders there. And now we gave them the opportunity to offer feedback, which they did. And we're going to also have another meeting that we are setting up, and it is a formal email that's been sent out. Debbie Dale sent it out this evening with the Chamber once again to facilitate that meeting. We're working out the date right now, but it's understood, and we kind of worked all of this out as well. And the deferral is something that all the stakeholders agreed on. So this is, we're kind of moving as we said we would. We just need to go back and have another meeting, which that is an email. I can send it out if I need to, but everybody agreed to that as well. We just need to set a date for that.
Will that include all the property owners, so it'll go out to everybody, not just the chamber?
It did the first time. No, the chamber sent it out. That's what we did.
All right, we're not going to get into running debate. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Maynard, you're recognized.
Procedural question. So since it's been approved, the substitute's been approved, we refer to planning then for a third reading, then this bill cannot be amended on third reading. Is that correct? Or can it?
It can. It's an amendment to the zoning code, so it's amendable on third reading.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Seeing no one else in the queue, we're on the motion to defer one meeting and to re-refer to the Planning Commission. Properly? Mr. Bernhardt.
Sorry, I think the motion needs to be re-referred to the Planning Commission on August 14th, and then to the council, it would be at their August 19th meeting to allow us to advertise the bill.
Is it another way we can do it? Because we had it for July 24th. Is not another, if it's already been?
The next planning, it's too late to advertise for the 24th Planning Commission, and the next Planning Commission meeting is the 14th of August.
Okay, so I guess we'll have to do it if we have to do it that way.
All right, so we're going to...
So now it's been put back? Yeah?
You're going to defer 2 meetings and re-refer to the Planning Commission meeting on August 14th.
To allow for time for advertisement.
Does she have to withdraw her motion? It was properly seconded.
She can modify it. All right.
And I had a brief comment if I could.
Okay, let me restate the motion so everybody knows where we are. We're going to defer for 2 meetings and re-refer to the Planning Commission meeting on August 14th. That's a motion properly seconded. Councilmember Gilmore, you're recognized.
Thank you so much. I just wanted to give everyone an update on some of the changes that have been made. The requirement was removed for the performance venue. We removed the merchandise percentages, which was a question as well. And we also limited it to the first floor. Those are some of the major changes, and I think some of the concerns that some of the property owners had. And as Mr. Cooper shared, we will continue to work, and the bill can be amended on third reading. So thank you. With that, I renew my motion.
All right. Thank you, Councilmember Gilmore. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor of the motion to defer and re-refer, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, the bill is deferred and re-referred. BL 2014-783 by Councilmember Anthony Davis Stein and others acquires a portion of property located at 864 Idlewild Drive for the construction of the Gibson Creek Equalization Facility. Councilmember Anthony Davis.
I believe all committees are in. I'd like to move approval.
It's proper motion, properly seconded. Seeing no discussion, all those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, and the bill is passed. BL 2014-787 by Councilmember Mitchell amends the Harpeth Village Commercial Planned Unit Development Overlay District for 1.12 acres of property located at 8002 Highway 100 to permit the construction of an automobile service facility. Councilmember Mitchell.
Committee reports.
Councilmember Hunt.
Planning and zoning approved, 7-4-0 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Mitchell.
With all committee reports being in, I move approval.
Is the motion properly seconded? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, and the bill is passed. BL 2014-799 by Councilmember Gilmore changes .19 acres from R6 to SP zoning for property located at 1209 Hawkins Street to permit up to 4 residential units. Councilmember Gilmore.
Let's see here. Committee reports, please, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem.
Thank you. Councilmember Hunt.
Planning and zoning approved Bill 799, 7-4-0 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Gilmore.
I'm going to move, I still have some concerns about this bill. I'm going to move to defer it. One meeting, please.
The motion is to defer one meeting, properly seconded. Seeing no discussion, all those in favor? Those opposed? And the bill is deferred one meeting. BL 2014-800 by Councilmember Baker changes .21 acres from R6 to RS 3.75 zoning for property located at Tennessee Avenue unnumbered east of 51st Avenue North. Councilmember Baker.
Thank you, Speaker Pro Tem. Committee reports, please.
Councilmember Hunt.
Planning and zoning approved Bill 800, 7-4-0 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Baker.
Move approval.
Motion properly seconded for approval. Seeing no discussion, all those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, and the bill is passed. BL 2014-801 by Councilmember Allen makes provisions of the Hillsborough West End Neighborhood Conservation Overlay District to 5 acres of property located at 2805, 2807, 2808, 2809, 2810, 2811, 2812, 2813, 2814, 2815A, 2816, and 2817 Blair Boulevard, and at 3201 Hillside Drive. Councilmember Allen.
Committee reports, please.
Councilmember Hunt.
Planning and zoning approved, 7-4-0 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Allen.
Move for approval.
Motion properly seconded for approval. Seeing no discussion, all those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, and the bill is passed. BL 2014-802 by Councilmember Scott Davis changes .16 acres. All right, by Councilmember Anthony Davis, the Davis twin. BL 2014-802 by Councilmember Anthony Davis changes .16 acres from RS5 to SP zoning for property located at 1102 Joseph Avenue to permit 1 single-family dwelling or a detached 2-family dwelling. Councilmember Anthony Davis, you're recognized.
He'll be here all week, folks. Committee report, please.
Councilmember Hunt.
Planning and zoning approved this twin bill for 7-4-0 against to defer one meeting.
On behalf of Councilman Scott Davis, I will defer for one meeting.
This motion properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of one meeting deferral, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, and the bill is deferred for one meeting. BL 2014-803 by Councilmember Duvall and Dominy amends the Rolling Hills Specific Plan District for 11.93 acres of property located at 3485 Hamilton Church Road to permit up to 56 single-family residential lots and 7 townhomes, where 27 single-family lots, 16 cottage lots, and 8 townhomes were previously approved. Councilmember Dominy. I'm sorry, Duvall.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Dominy Duvall twins here.
You're both on the bill.
Like the Davis twins. Little humor there. Seeing all committee reports in, I'd like...
No.
Oh, we need a committee report. I'm sorry, I didn't see it on here. Committee report, please.
Councilmember Hunt.
Planning and zoning approved Bill 803, 7-4-0 against. Mr. Twin.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Councilmember Duvall.
Thank you. Move for approval, please.
Oh, yep, there is a substitute on this. John.
Oh, well then I would like to move the substitution. John, do you need to say anything about that?
I believe the substitute is just to be consistent with the conditions that the Planning Commission recommended for the bill.
Yeah.
All right, there is a motion for substitution, properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor of the substitution, please say aye. Those opposed? And the bill is substituted.
And I'd like to move the bill as substituted, please.
There is a motion to approve the bill as substituted, properly seconded. Seeing no discussion, all those in favor, please say aye. And those opposed, and the bill is passed as substituted. Thank you. BL 2014-804 by Councilmember Westerholm changes .18 acres from RS5 to SP zoning for property located at 515 South 13th Street to permit up to 2 dwelling units. Councilmember Westerholm.
Thank you, Mr. Pro Tem. I'd like to defer this one meeting.
You need a committee report first.
I apologize. Committee reports, please.
That's all right. Councilmember Hunt.
Planning and zoning approve Bill 804, 740 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Westerholm.
I'd like to defer one meeting.
Motion is to defer one meeting, properly seconded. Seeing no discussion, all those in favor of the deferral, please say aye. Those opposed, and the bill is deferred one meeting. BL 2014-805 by Councilmember Hunt changes .19 acres from RS 7.5 to R8 zoning for property located at 3405 Meadow Court. Councilmember Hunt.
Planning and zoning approve this bill 805, 740 against, and I move for approval.
This motion properly seconded for approval. All those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, and the bill is passed. BL 2014-809 by Councilmember Westerholm changes .91 acres from R6 to SP zoning for properties located at 207 and 209 Gentry Avenue to permit up to 10 residential dwelling units. Councilmember Westerholm.
Thank you, Mr. Pro Tem. Committee reports.
Councilmember Hunt.
Planning and zoning approve Bill 809, 740 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Westerholm.
With that, I would move approval.
There's a motion properly seconded for approval. All those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, and the bill is passed. BL 2014-810 by Councilmember Johnson. Changes 96 acres from R10 to RS10 zoning for properties located along Anderson Road, Blue Water Drive, Blue Water Trace, Blue Water Way, Brantley Drive, Cedar Cliff Road, Charlton Drive, Cherry Hills Drive, Cold Spring Drive, Lyra Jones Drive, Moss Landing Drive, Moss Spring Drive, Mossdale Drive, Owendale Drive, Rogers Court, and Safford View Drive. Councilmember Johnson.
Committee report.
Councilmember Hunt.
Planning and zoning approve Bill 810, 740 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Johnson.
I'd like to move to substitute.
It's a motion properly seconded to substitute. Seeing no discussion, all those in favor of the substitute, please say aye. Those opposed, the bill is substituted. Councilmember Johnson.
I'd like to move the bill as substituted.
This motion properly seconded for approval is substituted. All those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, and the bill is approved as substituted. BL 2014-811 by Councilmember Gilmore changes 5.43 acres from IR to IG zoning for properties located at 701 Stanley Street and Stanley Street unnumbered at the southeast corner of Stanley Street and Visco Drive. Councilmember Gilmore.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. Committee reports.
Councilmember Hunt.
Planning and zoning approve Bill 811, 740 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Gilmore.
Move for approval.
There's a motion properly seconded for approval. Seeing no discussion, all those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, and the bill is passed. BL 2014-812 by Councilmember Westerholm makes provisions to 39.58 acres of the Laughlin Springs East End Neighborhood Conservation Overlay District to various properties located along Boscobel Street, Lillian Street, South 14th Street, South 15th Street, South 16th Street, South 17th Street, and Shelby Avenue. Councilmember Westerholm.
Thank you, Mr. Pro Tem. Committee report.
Councilmember Hunt.
Planning and zoning approve Bill 812, 740 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Westerholm.
I would move approval.
There's a motion properly seconded for approval. All those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, and the bill is approved. BL 2014-813 by Councilmember Moore changes 1.24 acres from IR to SP zoning for property located at 1225 4th Avenue South to permit a residential and office development. Councilmember Moore, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. Committee reports, please.
Councilmember Hunt.
Planning and zoning approve Bill 813, 740 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Moore?
I move for approval.
There's a motion properly seconded. Councilmember Tygart?
Yes, I need to abstain. I have a business relationship with the applicant. Before I do that, though, there's a trending on Twitter that members of the 26th district like their figurehead in that seat back there better than the normal one, so I just thought I'd get that out there. But I do need to abstain on this bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Tygart, and I sincerely doubt by the look of your desk that you've got Twitter available. Councilmember Moore has moved approval, and it has been properly seconded. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, and the bill is passed. BL 2014-814 by Councilmember Stein changes .65 acres from AR2A to RS10 zoning for property located at Edmondson Pike unnumbered, east of Bryce Road. Councilmember Stein.
Committee report.
Councilmember Hunt.
Planning and zoning approve Bill 814, 740 against.
Thank you, Councilmember Stein.
I move approval and like to make a brief comment.
There's a motion properly seconded. Councilmember?
I'm obviously handling this for Councilman Banks, and I know that in all of us, even though Brady won't hear this, we'll hold Brady and his family in our thoughts as they deal with the tragic loss of his brother. With that, I renew my motion to approve.
Thank you, Councilmember Stein. There's a motion properly seconded. All those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, and the bill is passed. BL 2014-815 by Councilmember Westerholm changes 9.9 acres from R10 to SP zoning for properties located at 801 Rosebank Avenue and Eastland Avenue unnumbered at the southeast corner of Rosebank Avenue and Eastland Avenue to permit up to 62 residential dwelling units and up to 1,300 square feet of commercial uses. Councilmember Westerholm.
Thank you, Mr. Pro Tem. Committee reports.
Councilmember Hunt.
Planning and zoning approve Bill 815, 740 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Westerholm.
I'd like to move approval with brief comment.
There's a motion properly seconded for approval. Councilmember Westerholm, you're recognized.
Thank you. I just wanted to address, there were a couple of emails that a lot of council members would have received between the public hearing and this time, and wanted to let you know that those issues have been largely addressed. Some of the questions that were stated in some of those emails were addressed with some additional phone calls, email conversations, and the developers have met with some of the neighbors who had some concerns. I believe all of those were addressed as best as they could, and some of the concerns that people may have heard about some other issues related to disturbing any sites, those were investigated and they were found to be unfounded at this point in time. So I just wanted to let everyone know that the concerns were addressed as best as possible, and I would ask for your support and renew my motion.
Councilmember renews his motion for approval, properly seconded. Seeing no discussion, all those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, and the bill is passed. BL 2014-816 by Councilmember Gilmore changes .43 acres from DTC to SP zoning for a portion of property located at the corner of Church Street and 5th Avenue North to permit a mixture of uses. Councilmember Gilmore.
Thank you, Speaker Pro Tem. Committee reports.
Councilmember Hunt.
Planning and zoning approve Bills 816, 740 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Gilmore, the amendment.
The amendment.
There's an amendment.
Is there? Okay, so I need to move that amendment. Okay.
Yes, please. There's a motion for an amendment, properly seconded. You're recognized.
Maybe John can discuss it. I'm having a senior moment here, and I don't mind saying so.
Mr. Cooper, would you discuss the amendment?
The amendment replaces the plan that was submitted with the SP district. Mr. Bernhardt may know more about what the changes were.
Mr. Bernhardt, would you care to address this?
Simply adjusted the dimensions to be correct with the actual property. So.
Thank you. Councilmember Gilmore.
Okay, yes. I move the amendment, please.
Motion properly seconded to amend the bill.
Okay.
Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, and the bill is amended.
Now move the bill, please.
There's a motion properly seconded for approval of 816. Seeing no discussion, all those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, and the bill is passed as amended. Thank you. BL 2014-817 by Councilmember Gilmore amends the Morgan Park Place specific plan district for properties located along 4th Avenue North, 5th Avenue North, and Van Buren Street to amend the caption of BL 2006-1037 to allow a total of 72 residential units, where 72 residential units were shown on the preliminary SP plan, but where 60 residential units were identified in the original council bill, and to eliminate a condition. Councilmember Gilmore.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. Committee reports, please.
Councilmember Hunt.
Planning and zoning approved Bill 817-740 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Gilmore.
Move for approval.
There's a substitute.
Move for the substitute.
There's a motion to substitute properly seconded. All those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, and the bill is substituted.
And now move for approval.
And there's a motion properly seconded for approval of the bill as substituted. All those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, and the bill is passed as substituted.
Thank you.
BL 2014-818 by Councilmember Stein amends the Metro Code regarding the approval of grants and the acceptance of donations. Councilmember Stein.
Move approval.
There's a motion properly seconded for approval. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, and the bill is approved. BL 2014-819 by Councilmember Anthony Davis amends the Metro Code pertaining to the definition of high weeds. Councilmember Davis.
All committees in, and having worked through this in committee, I would like to move approval as amended, please.
There's a motion to approve as amended, properly seconded. Seeing no discussion, all those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, and the bill is passed. BL 2014-820 by Councilmembers Stein and Dominy authorizes Metro government to enter into a participation agreement with Carolina 2 Investment Partners to fund the operation and maintenance of a public pressure sewer extension at the Heron Point development. Councilmember Stein.
Move approval.
There's a motion properly seconded. Seeing no discussion, all those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, and the bill is passed. Seeing no further business, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. We're adjourned.